Welcome into Cave Arena, everybody. Eric Evanson here with you alongside Simon Johnstone. Another edition of Piedmont Lions basketball. Today it's going to be Brevard, the Tornadoes, versus your Piedmont Lions, who come in red hot. Once again, myself alongside Simon Johnstone. Simon, how excited are we for this today?
Yeah, it's a really interesting matchup. The Lions off to their best start to their season since they have been introduced into the NCAA. A 6-1 record is what they're coming in with, and their victory last Friday against Millsaps College was one to remember for sure.
Oh yeah, just ready to keep it going, keep the juices going, and they'll do it. We'll get a starting lineup. First, Simon, you want to take us through Brevard, what they're running out there?
Absolutely. First up, number 12, Jaden Carnes. Then number 4, Quincy Carter at the guard. Along with him is number 10, Carson Evans. Then rounding out the starting 5 is number 13, Charlie Hester, and number 32, Chauncey Watson.
And for the Piedmont Lions, usual starting 5 for them. Number 1, Joe Hellenbrook out there. Number 4, Noah Reardon. Number 5, Ryan Jolly, CCS Player of the Week. He's reigning. Number 30, Fisher Darden. And number 31, Devin Dean. So we're looking to get it started today. We mentioned the 6-1 record. The Lions have not lost a game since November the 12th. They have been on a historic roll, of course, along the way, breaking the school scoring record versus Warren Wilson, and a very, well, awesome win, I guess you could say, versus Birmingham Southern last weekend. Already got the weekend off to a good start on Friday versus Millsap, and looking to continue it here today as Jolly passes the rock around to Darden. Jolly wants more, thought about it, now presses coverage inside, tries to bounce past to Joe. Joe can't get it, but who does? Darden. Joe, long pass to Jolly, who's open, goes for a 3 off the front of the rim, and it is recovered by Charlie Hester. Hester over to Carson Evans. Back to Hester now. Bounce pass inside to Carnes. Watch out for him. Shooting 6-12 from the field. Chauncey Weston pushing his way in. Number 32, bounce pass outside to Evans. Evans from the free throw line takes a shot, and they're on the board first. So Tornadoes open the scoring here today, 2-0. Just underway here in Cave Arena as Jolly paces his way down the court. Noah finds Joe. Joe back over to Reardon. Reardon pushes his way in. Flip pass to Jolly. Jolly from the free throw line goes to the paint. Still muscling his way through. Getting intense coverage. Goes for the fadeaway. Puts it through. Coverage by Chauncey Watson was just not enough there. Quincy Carter flies up off the glass for a 2.
Piedmont breaking out that 2-1-2 zone press early, and that time not going to really render any turnovers, but they are a defensive unit that gets a lot of blocks, a lot of steals, very active with their hands, and with this quicker lineup out there for the Lions, keep it out for a lot of turnovers by the Tornadoes.
Good recovery there by Darden. Flip it outside to Jolly. Ryan off the back iron, and it's recovered by Jaden Carnes. Their top shooter on their team. He is 30 for 49 from the field. This isn't a team that isn't going to shoot a lot from outside the arc, as they go for one right here. Off the back iron, recovered in the paint. They're going to go for another one. And that one found the net by Carson Evans. But by the stat book, this isn't a team that's going to kill you from around the arc, but you are going to have to watch out for them in the paint.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's interesting with the type of unit with the Lions is Joe Hellenbrook and Devin Dean super active on the blocks, as well as Fisher Darden, who got 3 along with Joe Hellenbrook on the defensive end. So it'll be interesting to see if they can match that sort of defensive energy that they've shown early in the season.
Fisher pushing his way through, able to keep the ball inside, gets it to Joe. Joe goes up for 2. Now a 3-point deficit early on. Watson, number 3-2 for Brevard, just inside the arc. Bounce passes outside to Evans. Evans, another one to Watson. Watson fakes a 3, now pushes his way through. Another roll away, and nope. Tried that one too many times. Seemed like that same exact play both times by Watson and Evans. in the same spot. A little bit of an interesting lineup for them on the offensive end for the Lions. They're not really crowding the paint, but they're not putting Dean in the paint, I should say, as they're usually used to, Simon.
Yeah, they usually like to showcase Devin Dean along with Joe Hellenbrook inside. Two very strong interior presences. Three-point shot going to go awry, but good board, yeah. So with the Lions, it'll be interesting to see if they look for more outside shooting here this afternoon. What a block by Joe Hellenbrook, picking up right where he left off on Friday.
Team leader in blocks right there. Reardon goes up for 2, and he puts it through. How did he do that? So the Lions still making it work. It just shows how versatile of a team they are. They don't necessarily have to keep running out the same offensive scheme every time. As Carter launches another 3, back-to-back for him. I have to watch out for the man with the headband on the boards. Jolly to Hellenbrook. Joe passes inside to Dean. Dean trying to muscle his way through the paint. Snapshot over to Fisher. Back iron Klang. Good job by Hellenbrook to get the rebound. Reardon to Dean. Devin. The Lions insignia goes up for 2. It goes off the glass. Hellenbrook's going to recover. Ball gets stripped away. No whistle blown. Haven't seen a whistle yet today.
Yeah, both teams showcasing physicality. Usually early on in these matchups, you get a little aggressive on both ends, try to figure out where the refs lie. But speaking of just getting on fire and figuring it out early is Evans, up to 11 points already in this matchup.
Might have to keep the clamps on him here early on, as he has been the offensive production for the Tornadoes so far. Good fadeaway with coverage by Fisher. Coach Neely barking orders from the sidelines. Dean putting up the press in the middle. Flip outside. Carnes thought about it, pushes his way through the paint. Everybody tipping for this one. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Jolly. Now it's going to be Jolly on a one-on-one coverage. He's racing down the court. Tries to go up, gets the foul.
Ryan Jolly, such an aggressive player, always looks to attack the hoop. He's going to be attempting his 50th free throw after our first media timeout here at the line. Arguably the number one guy you want to see out there. He's shooting at 90%. We talked about this on the broadcast Friday. A really good statistic to have is to join what's called the 50-40-90 club. It's where you shoot 50% from the field, which he's currently doing at 53%, 40% from 3. He's actually gone above and beyond, shooting 52% from 3. And then at the line, if you're hitting 90% of your shots, you're an elite scorer on all 3 levels. So Jolly is currently right on track for that type of number.
I'd say he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Squads both having the first time out, and early on, Simon obviously still behind, but nothing to worry about.
Absolutely. The Lions are a team that get hot. They're a team that can absolutely activate on these runs, and whether it comes from three-point shooting, defensive efforts where they take away and score a bunch of transition points, or if they just can present themselves inside, all are viable options. And one thing to keep an eye on is actually the interior. Right now, there hasn't been an issue when it comes to rebounding for the Tornadoes, but looking at the matchup, the Lions are winning the height battle. And with how aggressive those Lions are when it comes to grabbing rebounds on both sides of the court, it'll be really intriguing to see how this game progresses in that facet, as rebounding is arguably one of the most important statistics to win.
Something that we always pay attention to is the Lions' rebounding stat, and I think that's just quite underrated in their game because they're just so darn good at it. Couple substitutions early as Neville and Wiseman come in. Jolly readies his first shot. And, yep, sinks it. Automatic.
No Reardon and no Hellenbrook early on. Probably the earliest exit of Hellenbrook we've seen without the substitution of JCJ or Jeremiah Carter-Johnson stepping in onto the court for him. A lot smaller of a lineup here. Darden or Dean, one of the two, are going to get the nod at the 5. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Definitely
moving the stature down, but it looks like that Coach Neely is really going to go for the shooter aspect of everything. And that one, just a hole in the boat. Carnes left wide open in the paint, and the Tornadoes made him pay for it. Jolly with a fadeaway. Try to rattle that one in, but it's rebounded by Quincy Carter. Carter will get it over to Carson Evans. Watch out for him. Watson once again with it. Evans back over to Watson. Watson trying to bounce pass inside. He finds Carnes. Watson again from the corner for 3 off the inside part of the rim. It's going to be recovered by Fisher. Jolly taking his time with it now, presses the aggressive button, and Wiseman's going for 3 here. Unable to put it through. Lions unable to find that first 3 of the contest. A lot of offense just being built off the 2-pointer and very much just in the coverage in the paint as the Tornadoes continue to add on.
And like you said, Lions slow from beyond the arc, 0 for 4 to start the game. And with the team as many good shooters as the Lions have, it's intriguing to see if the confidence maybe drops up. Maybe Neely looks inside right now, obviously sticking with that intentional, more shooting style of lineup as a pass goes awry. Darden almost saves it there, but here come the Tornadoes trying to break down that 2-1-2 zone once again.
Yeah, and with an offense like the Lions, you don't necessarily worry about them being behind early because they do sometimes traditionally start slow, but you obviously don't want to dig yourself a hole that later on you're going to be kicking yourself that you can't climb out of. Substitutions for both squads. JCJ and Hellenbrook are going to come in. Coming out is Fisher and Devin Dean.
Almost a complete 180 from that shooting squad. Of course, you have a couple great shooters with Neville Jolly and Wiseman still out there, and both Hellenbrook and JCJ can stretch the floor, but I think Neely wants to win that rebounding battle a little bit more convincingly, maybe get a couple more opportunities on the offensive side with a few more offensive boards.
Taking a shot for 3 is Charlie Hester, and there's the rebound by Bailey. Wiseman to Jolly. Jolly up there and 1. Great assist. Wiseman has really been a weapon off the bench. We've seen in the past week. Coming off the concussion protocol list, he has really been electric for this Lions squad.
Yeah, 100%. He's the man that the Lions looked at when it came down to the wire in that matchup against Birmingham Southern University, or College, excuse me, as he actually hit the game-tying 3 to send the Lions into overtime against BSC, and eventually they would go on to win that game by a margin of 8. It's just an incredible victory.
He had the final score in that game as well, a dunk that was the dagger. So Jolly takes to the line once more, looking for the 1. Turned into a 3-point play. Yes, sir. .40 left in the not the contest, but the half. 17-13, a 4-point lead for Brevard. Neville tried to put up the good block there. Good job by JCJ to get a palm on that basketball and knock it loose a little bit there from Evans. Evans shoots from behind the arc. They're going to go again. Shot for 3, and it's dunked in there by Sly White. Number 30 out there on the floor. So a team that by the numbers doesn't shoot from behind the arc is really putting up numbers from that position. Ryan over to Neville. Bailey giving it his shot, gonna go over to Griffin. Griffin goes for the 3, and it just rolls off the front side of the rim. Hellenbrook tried to catch the rebound, but it is gonna be recovered by Quincy Carter. Carter flips outside Evans. Evans over to Hester. Ball will be out. And a timeout here. So obviously a little slow than usual and just not being able to defend a lot from around the arc. It seems like the Lions just aren't on the same page right now.
Yeah, I'll say on the offensive side, nothing to worry about just yet. It's very similar signs to what we saw on Friday against Millsaps College, where it was a very slow game with just 6 minutes or 4 minutes left in that contest. There was a margin of 6. The scoreline was 26-20 in favor of the Lions, and they blew up that scoreline, increasing their lead to nearly 20 points by the conclusion of that first half. So offensively, the Lions know they can activate and score a ton of points early on in just a short span of time. And defensively, well, they are giving up a good amount of points here early on. 20 points in under 9 minutes, is A little concerning for a team that has a really strong defensive identity, but I don't know if Greg Neely's going to shy away from that 2-1-2 zone. Sometimes teams are really good at breaking it down. We saw it against Emory where the shooters were able to hit their spots here. Shades of that a little bit by Brevard, but if the statistics do tell a convincing story, Brevard won't be hot out there for much longer, but sometimes you just got to play what's in front of you, and here you got to close out on those shooters.
Exactly correct. And Carson Evans, big problem for the Lions. He is the only man on the floor in double digits, 11 points for him. He has converted 3 of 4 three-pointers. Those three-pointers totaling 10 points for them. So if you can control a little bit more of the game behind the arc for the Lions, things are going to get a little bit more clear. And take down this man. Put the clamps on him. Jolly trying to do that right there. Pass inside. Hellenbrook hands up defense, shooting for a 3 here, and it's off the rim. 3 Lions jump up to recover that one, making sure that they win it. Sly White on that last attempt, that 3-point attempt for Brevard. Hellenbrook from outside goes to Griffin. Griffin, a lot of coverage on him. The Tornadoes are really filling up the paint. Not a lot of play to be had as Hellenbrook now moves his way towards there. And with 6 seconds left on the shot clock, Jolly's going to have to get creative. Goes to JCJ. JCJ goes up for 2.
2-3 zone, being shown there by the Tornadoes. Normally you're going to want a point man, likely going to be JCJ, right at that free throw line to try and open up those wing shooters. Interesting to see if he steps up. Right there was more on-ball action because they showed that 2-3 zone a little later. But it's interesting to see how the Lions break a zone. It's a defensive scheme that we don't see too often here in Piedmont.
Quincy Carter with the ball. Goes over and whistle there. Where do we see that? And it'll be a foul registered to Hellenbrook. Hellenbrook tried to get that ball away from Charlie Hester, but just mistimed his slap. R.J. Johnson. Right at the Lions crest, goes to Evans. Evans, a long pass over to Hester. Hester, bounce pass inside. Sly White. Hester once again. Good defense here with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. They're going to have to go for 3. This one off the tip of the rim, recovered by Hellenbrook. Good job by him. He'll stand back up, get a round of applause. Neville trying to make his own offense, can't control the ball. Ball on the ground, it's loose. It's recovered by the Tornadoes. There's Bailey Wiseman. Wiseman tries to go up. It's knocked out of his hands. Now recovered by Charles Reed. So good opportunity there for the Lions. Just couldn't get it done, and, you know, you don't necessarily tally that. It looked like just maybe a little bit of funniness happening.
Couple slip-ups, couple drop balls. Griffin Neville going to close in on Sly White, and a little too much chest contact there, maybe pushing him off his spot. Looked good to me, but, you know, sometimes referees see it from a better angle down below. Brevard going to head to the line just first time, I believe, that they make it there. First 2 shots for Sly White going to be at the stripe.
20-15. Make it 21-15. 6-point lead for these Lions. Here comes Reardon. He'll tag out for Jolly. Wiseman in the back, getting ready to cover here. Tornadoes looking to grow the lead further, and they're going to. 22-15, they're 100% from the line. Good job by Wiseman. Just check it right back into Reardon, wasting no time. Bailey looking for an opening here. He's going to find Joe. Joe maybe thought about it, now checks it back over to Wiseman. Wiseman controlling the tempo, flips outside to Reardon. Reardon back to Bailey. Bailey looking for somebody to go to. He's that man-to-man. Is going to shoot for him behind the arc off the front lip of the rim. Recovered by the Tornadoes. Good coverage by JCJ to stop that. Slowed the momentum a good bit. Chauncey Watson over to R.J. Johnson. And travel call there. I'll go the Lions' way.
Lions, they're showing a man-to-man defense. Neely switching up from his patented 2-1-2 zone. I'm a fan of the switch just because you're able to run shooters off the line a little bit easier when you're staying in front of your guy. Of course, screens are a bit of a concern with getting switched on, especially when you have two bigs like JCJ and Hellenbrook out there. But first defensive possession looked very good. Everyone stayed on their man and created a turnover.
Well, fumble there by Neville, but he recovers it nicely. Gets it to Noah. Reardon finds a shooting lane open, just couldn't put it off the glass, but that will be a Lion ball. Ball will go to Reardon. Reardon got to find somebody and find him quick. Height by Hellenbrook helps him there. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Reardon goes up for the floater. Can't put it in. Gets the rebound. Goes outside and a foul there.
Incredible effort by Reardon to get that recovery. A little heavy on the floater. Pushed it too long. Hit the back rim, but able to recognize exactly where it was going and got his hands on it. Lions, though, need to start converting on these drives as they're just really unable to get a bucket. There, I believe an illegal screen might be called against Jeremiah Carter-Johnson. Didn't see exactly what happened, but freed Griffin Neville up with a ton of room.
Marching along, Charles Reed gets it over to Hester. Hester trying to get it over to R.J. Johnson. Did Sly White. When it goes off the tip of his hands, it'll be a Lion ball. JCJ comes out. Devin Dean comes in. Caleb Lesh in. And Griffin Neville out. Reardon over to Wiseman. Wiseman over to Lesh now. Lesh inside to Dean. Good job by him to put the palm on that one, bring it in. Dean trying to be a physical presence. Gets the ball knocked loose momentarily. Goes to Wiseman. Wiseman tries to put it up. That one was high. And Hellenbrook with the assist.
Hellenbrook, the man who had 17 boards on Friday, continues his activity on both sides. Always someone you have to keep an eye on in that paint.
Flip outside to Reed. Charles Reed, tough shove against Wiseman, no call. Good coverage by Bailey. Going through the paint, and that should be a Lions ball. Yes, it will be. A little bit too heavy on the gas pedal there for Brevard.
Dean got in front just in time there. Great draw on the foul, and Lions are keeping it close. It's been a very tough night, to say the least, for the Lions on the shooting side. 0 for 6 from beyond the arc, and just shooting a smooth 37% overall in the game. And for Brevard, honestly, they're not the best three-point shooting team, but what they do is they shoot a ton of threes. They have more attempts across the season than the Lions do, and right now they're shooting 33%, but they've put up 12 three-point attempts, doubling what the Lions have. So it'll be interesting if they continue that track. It really seems to be just one man putting up all the threes, and that's going to be, of course, Mr. Carson Evans, as he just is pulling up from beyond the arc. He's produced, let's just check the live stats here, 5 3-pointers by himself, nearly half of his team's total.
And the rebound war now knotted up. 5 offensive rebounds for Piedmont as opposed to the 4. So very close in both. The Lions, I think really what it's going to come down to is, the law of averages is eventually going to fall. Just like it has for how many three-pointers that Brevard shoots, the law of averages will fall, and it will fall for the Lions. They are 0 for 6 right now from beyond the arc. That's not going to continue. And right now, that's honestly the difference. Hellenbrook inside to Dean. Dean trying to get up, draws the foul, trying to go up for and one, can't find it. But he will get an opportunity at 2.
And like you're saying with that law of averages, it's about this time in the first half that we saw against Millsaps College where the Lions absolutely exploded for tons of points to close out that first half. Lions usually start to play a little bit more aggressive just in terms of their cuts, which will free up shooters, give them time to really get into their rhythm and step into it. Fortunately, though, Devin Dean not going to knock down the first free throw, so maybe the run starts after this one. Bad man Carson Evans walks back onto the court.
Dean can't find it on the second one either, but guess who's there to help him? Joe. So Hellenbrook converts it in 22-19. Quincy Carter unable to handle the ball there is Carson Evans. Tornadoes, snap pass inside the arc, gonna go back outside. Heads up on this dude. Shooting for three here is Carter, and he rattles one in.
That's a great closeout by Caleb Lesh, who got chopped on that screen. I honestly thought would have been a good enough contest to distract at least Quincy Carter, but straight twine was that jump shot as Brevard once again hits from beyond the arc.
Hellenbrook outside to Bailey. Bailey pushing his way through. Snap show over to Lesh. Wiseman again, 4-3 this time. Klang. Hellenbrook has been a force out there. He's always in the middle of something. And Jolly is going to walk back onto the court. So does Jaden Carnes for Brevard. Reardon inside to Jolly. Ryan guys to go up. Can't get it there. Good job by Lesh to recover. Jolly gets a second chance. Goes for three on that one. Fakes it. Goes up. Puts it through. And the point no good, but it will take the ball out. Or is it going to be from the line?
Yeah, it looks like they called it just before he got into his motion to score the layup. Oh, but we're going to the bonus.
Yeah.
Ha, look at that. He still gets to go to the line.
Everybody was moving around. I was like, what are they doing? Reardon thought they were going out.
Musical chairs action.
Yeah, the referee was right on the line. Baseline, he couldn't tell. But this is the guy you want from the line right here. Jolly looking to remain 100%. And to this point, he is. Put it through again. Carson Evans. Evans flips it over. Hester. Now putting up the stop sign is Chauncey Watson. Hester once again. Moving through the paint. Can't get it there as it ricochets off the back iron. Scramble for the ball now. It's in the corner. And that was an attempt there by R.J. Johnson. It looked like he stepped out, maybe. I'm not sure. Evans to Hester. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Got to be careful here if you're the Tornadoes. They're going to take a shot at a three, and it falls flat. Air ball caught by Devin Dean. Dean to Jolly for two.
Those lines so aggressive at crashing the offensive glass. And once again, Ryan Jolly on that back door. No one picked him up for the Tornadoes, and just easy pickings once again for the Lions.
And heads up if you're Brevard. Never mind. I was going to say it's a 2-point contest, but stretch it even more. But still, the Lions on a little bit of a run here. They're getting momentum, not necessarily on the board, but Jolly's going to shoot for three, and it falls. First three of the day for the Lions comes off the back of Ryan Jolly. Now it's a 2-point contest. Evans through the paint. Good job by Jolly to try to get up there, but foul will be drawn.
I believe that's Jolly's 14th point in this first half. He's on track for yet another great performance here for the Lions as Ryan Jolly averaging just 13 points per game, it looks like, on the season. But, of course, we know he can explode for a lot more than that, as he's already got 14 here tonight. That can't be right. Correction, 23 points per game. I was looking at the wrong thing.
We had to check our sheet.
I was about to say, felt a little low for that man. The multiple-time CCS Player of the Week, as always, and real leader of this brigade for the Lions.
30-26 with 4 minutes 30 seconds left in the first half. Lesh handles, goes over to Hellenbrook, who goes to Lesh for three, rolls off the rim. Dean tried to get a handle on that one, but it is going to be recovered. For the Tornadoes, R.J. Johnson gets it over to Carter. Now Hester bounce pass inside to Chauncey Watson. Watson pressing the paint. Tries to go up against Reardon and somehow puts that through. Followed the fundamental, just hit the window. Jolly to Reardon. Noah back over to Ryan. Ryan shooting for three here. Now Hellenbrook gets the rebound. It's an aggressive ricochet off the front side of the rim. Devin Dean controlling here in the paint. Got to find a way through. Tries to muscle up for two. And that ball still letting come down. And it will be a tornado ball. Or will it? Where did he motion?
I believe they pointed towards the lines. Could be wrong on the indication, but Devin Dean, as much as I love the tenacity on the boards, of course, still getting his team another offensive possession. Those are the shots that they need to convert. That's why they're trailing here in this first half. It's tough to say exactly where they could improve upon because it feels like they're playing well, just need those shots to fall. Still shooting a concerning 35% from the floor, and Brevard, to their credit, have been shooting incredibly well from beyond the arc, 43%, and overall in the game at 48. They're making nearly half their shots, so as a defensive unit, you have to step up a little bit, but sometimes you have to tip their cap, and right now, Tornadoes are having one heck of an offensive performance.
It's very much reminiscent of how they performed versus Birmingham Southern in the first half, where the Lions just flat out could not shoot. They just could not find the net. And right now, it seems similar to what's happening there.
We know the Lions are not only a second half team, but they're really, really good out of these dead balls, specifically after timeouts or extended breaks where head coach Greg Neely can tell his guys exactly what he wants to see on the floor. The Lions are so good at adapting to whatever adjustments need to be made and deploying that as quickly as possible. So keep an eye out for the remaining 3:30 and change to see how these Lions can close out this half. And if history is any indication, we know that the Lions will come out scorching out of the break, but we're not there just yet.
Nope.
We need those Lions to make a minor comeback here as they trail by 6.
Hellenbrook using size gets the foul. And really what you look at when we have our stats now, updated ones, in the paint, Brevard 8. In the paint, Piedmont 16. So they're making it work from inside the paint, just cannot get it done on the other end of it. It's going to be all about the long bomb here pretty soon, as that is where the Lions getting beat right now. As the first one by Hellenbrook sinks right through. Going for his second shot, looking to become 2 for 2. Yep. Like a foul charge to Fisher Darden.
I believe a lane violation. Stepped a little bit too far in on that free throw attempt, a little too early. Very rare call, I'll be honest, with something like that, but I guess jumped the gun so aggressively that the ref had no choice but to blow his whistle. Lions also going back to the zone. Interesting call here. Curious to see how it'll play out for the remaining 3 minutes.
A lot of passing by the Tornadoes, and Heston goes up for a long two.
That's exactly what you have to do with that zone, is just keep them on the move. The Lions love to essentially shrink the court to half the size, and if you keep that ball moving around, you isolate the weaknesses in the zone a lot better, as either a moving screen or some form of an offensive foul on Devin Dean going to be called. Lions, where we thought would have been the start of a great run, has turned into back-to-back turnovers, if you will. And Tornadoes looking to just keep increasing this lead before the end of the first.
And Coach Neely not happy with that previous call, arguing with the referee still letting him have it. Going for three here is Chauncey Watson. Clang, caught by Jolly. Ryan, long pass over to Reardon. Reardon over to Ryan again. He's wide open for three. Can't put it through. Hellenbrook on the other end of it. Can't put it through. Still trying, and he'll get the fist raised, but still unable to convert those chances off the glass.
Call him a stat sheet stuffer, but it's good that he is going to the line. I love the aggressiveness But Joe needing to convert that first one, sending a message to Brevard, because right now they're able to get away with a lot of possessions. The Lions aren't getting offensive boards. It's one of their best statistics as they just continuously give themselves more possession. Here's this statistic. Joe Ellenbrook has 7 offensive rebounds in the first half, which make up 7 of his 8 total rebounds for the game. He's been an absolute monster on the offensive glass, but unfortunately, when it comes to second chance points, they are dead even with Brevard. So Lions unable to convert those second opportunities that they have any more than the Tornadoes are on the other side.
Off the back rim, recovered. Is that another foul issued to Darden? It is. Here's Carson Evans. Evans now over to Drew Smith, newly entered into the game. Back to Evans now. Floater over to Heston. Heston has it again. Bounce pass inside. Carnes going for 3 here, and landing 3 is Drew Smith, coming off the bench and producing. Reardon. Dean. To Jolly again. Fisher has it. Here's Reardon. Reardon in the paint, puts up a floater off the back iron, finds its way through. Lions going with a death by a million paper cuts approach here. Unfortunately, the bleeding has not fully started for Brevard. Smith pass it over to Carnes. Carnes to Harder. Evans can't put it through. Jolly. Fisher for 3. Puts it through. Needs some more of that. 1:20 left in the half.
Smart layoff there by Jolly. Let Fisher step right into his shooting form, and Fisher more than a confident 3-point shooter beyond the arc. Currently pulling from 42% from 3.
Carnes. He's going to look for Evans. Evans getting a lot of pressure here with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Finds Heston. Heston goes around him. Still pushing through is Evans. Evans goes through the paint.
Oh my goodness.
Puts it through.
Carson Evans is having a day.
Yes, he is. 39-33. And Jolly looking to burn the clock a little bit more. Now Ryan being aggressive. Tries to push it up. Gets the foul there. That's what Ryan tries to do. It's worked a lot for him today. Let's put his stats up there. Team's 10th. Goodness.
Shots 7 and 8 for Jolly from the line. And all this does is just open up more opportunities to shoot from beyond the arc, because they're going to have to sink off if they have to worry about these foul trouble shots. And Jolly, you don't want to see at the line. If we already talked about how good he is from the line, he's definitely in the 90% confidently now. That's his 6th of his free throw attempts knocks down.
Exactly right, Simon. You just got to wonder when they're going to ease off of him. I mean, if he's going to go for 2, you'd rather do it without the possibility of someone fouling out. So Brevard timeout with 40 seconds left. 39-35, and Simon, 2-pointers are good. Working the paint's good. The free throws are good. At some point, you got to shoot from behind the arc.
Yeah, Lions are slowly starting to find their stroke, and they're doing enough defensively to keep themselves in the game without 3-point shooting. Like I said, it's been a very slow start from beyond the arc right now. 2 of 12 from 3 across the way, 7 of 16. So, like you said, 3-pointing, big point of concern. But it's all going to start on the defensive end for the Lions. If they can keep closing out these possessions after one shot, even if they knocked out a tough jumper like we saw from Evans' last possession, you can live with those points. It's when you give up those offensive boards when you're already down. That's when it starts to really chip away and devastate you. But right now, Lions doing a good job trying to just inch their way back one possession at a time.
Taking it here is Carson Evans. Evans flips over to Heston. Heston to Carnes. Carnes in a little bit of a mix-up. Flips it outside to R.J. Johnson. Johnson back over to Evans. Evans pushing his way through. With 5 seconds on the shot clock, Evans tries to fake a three, now goes inside to Carnes. Carnes goes up, get that out of here. Evans goes for a buzzer beater three, it's all for naught. Jolly goes for the final three, back iron, buzzer. 42-36 and a half. You cannot let that happen.
There's going to be a sting in the tail for sure for the Lions. Amazing block that turned into 3 points instead for Brevard. I mean, if you're Joe Ellenbrook, that's all you can ask for. He sent that thing into the orbit, and it just happened to fall right into the hands of the number one man, Carson Evans. Of course, he's going to knock that down. He's been doing it all first half. It's been an impressive showcase by, honestly, just Carson Evans. You have to keep a focus on him. He's got 18 for the Tornadoes. Everyone else on their roster, next highest scoring player is Mr. Carter, Quincy Carter, with just 7. So you have to scheme your defense around Evans. And on the offensive side, I think it's been good enough. They'll hit their threes. They're looking and finding the shots that are open. They're not forcing anything. But my only concern on the offensive side is sometimes they let that shot clock just run a little bit too low. The actions aren't starting, and then all of a sudden, you've got 10 seconds left, you're holding the ball at the top of the key, and the defensive team shrinks inside and saying, look, shoot it, go on. You're in the teens for three-point percentage.
Yeah, it's not been a very friendly first half, not been a very pretty one, quite ugly for the Lions, as they're going to look to figure something out in the locker room. And like you said there, Simon, it does start with controlling maybe a little bit more on the defensive end. Because if you can keep them down, if you can hold them down, well, let me be more specific. If you can hold Carson Evans down, you're going to leave the door open. And right now, not saying the door is closing, but they're getting the keys. And they're trying to lock it up right now. There's still ample opportunity to come back. There's still a full half of basketball to play. But if the shooting continues as it is, if the play in the paint continues how it is, it's going to be a very high hill to climb. Well, that's going to do it us for the first half. Go take a break. Think about something you want to do this evening. We're going to talk about how the Lions can fix some issues and stop the bleeding into the break. Watching Piedmont Athletics on YouTube. Welcome back to Piedmont Athletics on YouTube. Eric Edmondson alongside Simon Johnstone with you. We're coming out of the break looking for some different things and maybe some shooting from the Lions.
Yeah, 100%. The Lions had a very tough first half, shooting 2 of 13 from beyond the arc. And just overall in the game, 35% is not the number you want to be looking at going into the break, but the Lions are known for their second half performances. They're a team that can spark an incredible comeback. Greg Neely, one of the best at adapting to whatever he sees in that first half. One thing we talked about was Evans for the Brevard is a 6-point per game scorer. He's obviously exploded to 18 points here in this game and in the first half alone. So Neely probably going to recognize that he's going to be the focal point of the offense in this second half and will adjust accordingly as they've limited their star guy to under 10 points, which is what the ideal situation was going into the matchup.
Exactly. Ball will be put back into the hands of Evans. Here's Carnes, Jaden Carnes from the beyond the arc, putting it through, and it's Chauncey Watson. The three-pointer has been the friend of Brevard, and much to our surprise, honestly. Jolly from outside the arc goes to Joe. Joe finds Fisher. Fisher bounce pass inside to Devin Dean. Dean trying to make something happen, pushes his way through, muscles his way towards the paint. He looks like he's going to go put up, can't get it there. Joe gets a hand on it, but it's tipped into the hands of Evans. Evans, long pass over to Quincy Carter, inside to Carnes. Carnes, uncontested, gets it over to Heston. Too much coverage on Carnes there and completely forgot about Charlie Heston, who snuck in the back door. 47-35, just underway in the second half. Ryan Jolly moving his way through in the paint, tucks under, goes up for 2, puts it through.
I'm amazed anyone's jumping on Jolly at this point. We've seen him at the line so much already in the first half, and people still trying to block the senior as he just keeps driving to that hoop.
You can't say it would work. And Carnes puts it up off the glass. A little late to the party was Fisher Darden. Tried to get a block on that one, but just couldn't get there in time. Bounce pass inside to Devin Dean from Jolly. Dean trying to find somebody, gets the ball knocked out of his hand by Watson. Man-on-man coverage, and going up for 2 is Dean. Need more of that one. And a timeout called by Coach Neely.
Likely trying to set up something on the defensive end. Didn't come out exactly as they wanted on the defensive side, but offensively, it's looking a lot smoother. They're able to penetrate inside a little bit easier, and with Devin Dean getting active down low, hopefully that opens up some opportunities for our shooters. No three-point shot attempts yet for the Lions. Curious to see if, obviously you can't ignore the three-pointer and how the game of basketball is played today, but clearly the focal point is to get inside. So it's interesting to see if it's one of those situations where he'll tell you, if you're open, go for it. But other than that, let's look to get inside and score layups, because that's where those points are being generated. And on the defensive end, it just needs to come down to staying in front of your guy. A lot of backdoor cuts and a lot of off-ball action for the Tornadoes is what's opened them up down low to get easy lay-ins. So potentially a little bit more aggressive getting through screens is going to be the priority for the Lions here.
Yeah. Focus is definitely more in the paint for the 2. They're not shooting from inside the arc. They're more of trying to go off the glass, or they're trying to go for the floater. So still maybe not trusting the shooting hand just yet, which is very interesting for this Lions team because it's one of the better shooting teams out there. Especially with the 5 guys on the court right now of Reardon, Jolly, and Fisher. Fisher tries to fly up and tuck it down, but put through by Quincy Carter. Hellenbrook to Reardon. Reardon's going to go for 3. Can't rattle it in. Good job by Joe to get the rebound. He also draws the foul.
This man is an animal on the offensive glass. Number 9 on just the offensive side alone for Joe Hellenbrook. This is 11th rebound overall. He's going to head to the line where he's had, knock on wood here for the commentator's curse. He's had a good showing so far. 2 of 3 from the line in the first half. It's about his average at around 66%. Hopefully going to increase that here with 2.
Joe puts it up and puts it through. Hellenbrook has gotten so much better from the line over the course of the season. Going 2 for 2 here, maybe? Yes, sir. So Simon Johnstone puts the commentator's curse to rest.
I beat the allegations finally. After months of evidence that I cannot refute.
through the net for Chauncey Watson. Jolly in the paint, tries to dunk it down towards Fisher. Fisher's got a lot of coverage on him, flips outside to Noah. Reardon pacing his time. He's got 20 seconds on the clock here, but he's wasting no time for the free throw line. Dean thought about it, pulls up. Now he gets back to Jolly. Jolly takes his time, goes for 3. Unable to put it through. Brick. Long pass to Chauncey Watson. Can't find it off the back iron. Good job by Fisher to open the wingspan there and grab it. Fisher. There's a wide open lane in the back left corner. He's going to flip it over to Jolly. Dean trying to push it through. And I don't think there was a foul. What was that foul called?
They call a block against Evans there.
Okay.
Brevard Tornadoes up in arms about that call. They believe that he was more than set. And it's just his second foul. A lot of Tornadoes for Brevard do have 2 fouls, only one with 3, and that's going to be Hester. So not yet foul trouble of a concern. Still a lot of time to go, but with the small rotation that Brevard shows, it'd be interesting to see if any of those players can get into foul trouble, as you know how aggressive the Lions are trying to draw fouls.
So Dean will take it to the line. He's looking to improve that aspect of his game. He's got to make it count here. And he sinks the first one. Now a 9-point deficit. Excuse me, 11-point. Now it's 10-point. So Lions back in closing distance. But gotta start shooting and gotta stop these guys. Hey now, he's not part of the game. Good catch by a fan on the sideline. Jolly. Ryan trying to find a way through. He's going to take a shot. A long 2, puts it through. Jolly really putting the Lions on his back in this contest. Hester outside, Scott. Bounce inside, Carnes. Going for 3 here is Quincy Carter. And you got to stop the three. The 3 has been the still hole in the sinking ship for the Lions right now. And there's a 3 for Jolly.
Jolly, like Jordan, going to take it personally there. Knock down an answer back 3. But, God, Brevard, 50% from beyond the arc. That's their 10th made 3 of the game. It's really tough to stay competitive with the team. The Lions are doing just that so far. But Brevard, it's been an incredible shooting night for the Tornadoes. Looks to be off of the leg of either Darden or Hellenbrook. It's going to stay with the Tornadoes after our first media timeout here, the under-16.
The Lions are still in the hunt. It's just they can't stop them from shooting. The defensive end of that is not getting there. Jolly is really starting to shoot even better than he was in the first half. And he was shooting fine in the first half. But now he's connecting for the long 3s, the long 2s, and he's finding them. He just needs the rest of his supporting cast to come through.
Jolly pulling up the most from beyond the arc. He had 7 attempts total so far in this game. 2 made, is leading his team with 2 total 3s. He's got, I believe, now 23 points for the Lions, almost half of the total score. So Jolly's doing his job on the offensive end. Defensively is obviously what we have to focus on here, because the Lions are staring down the barrel of an insurmountable lead, not in the sense that it's too far away numbers-wise, but just it feels like every time they do something on the offensive end, it gets answered back by the Tornadoes. So, closing out on the shooters is priority. Last couple shots that I've seen, though, look to be well defended. They are closing out. They are stepping up, but instead of any miss, the Tornadoes just continue to knock them down. So it's starting to not feel like a fluke and starting to feel more like they just cannot miss tonight.
Some nights you have it. Taking now, right now, will be Carson Evans. Ellenbrook covering him. Long pass trying to find Quincy Carter. Carter gets it to Evans. Evans tries to get it through. Tipped. Darden steals. Tipped again. Ellenbrook soaring up. He dunks it through. There's a momentum shifter. Everybody on the court feeling it now. Evans. Over to Quincy Carter. Evans inside. Heston. Carter again. Can't silence it. Tipped out of the way. Ellenbrook steals. Jolly. Reardon. Reardon's up. Puts it through. Arena alive. Brevard on notice. Watson. Evans inside to Carter. Good defense by Ellenbrook. Can't put it through. Darden to Ryan. Jolly. Fisher going up for two. Can't find its way through. It'll roll off the rim into the hands of Quincy Carter. Griffin Neville gets ready to come off the bench. Evans, Hester, inside to Carnes. Carnes can't control the ball. He gets it back now. Carter has nobody home. Tries to go up for two. It does rattle its way through.
Smart pump fake there by Carter, and Lions finally showing a little bit signs of life here on the offensive end, knocking down some good offensive possessions in a row. Finally string together something here. Ryan Jolly once again crashes inside. You don't want him catching speed. You blink and now it's just a 3-point deficit, or maybe just 4. Someone needs to go back to elementary school and learn how to count.
Over to Watson. Inside to Carnes. Flip outside Evans. Getting two-man coverage on him now. Jolly all over it. Quincy pass inside. Carter to Carnes. Carnes, three-man coverage. Bounce pass. Carter goes for three. Again, 10 seconds off the shot clock. Watson tries to pump. Goes for the long two. Can't find it. Back iron. Recovered by Ellenbrook. Here comes Reardon. Reardon's got a 2-on-1. Facing it. Goes through. Glass. Rebounded by the Tornadoes. Carter from the corner pushes his way through. Carnes flies up for two. Timeout called. So Lions are getting momentum. They have forced Brevard into a little bit of hasty shots, but they're still making them. It's a 6-point deficit into this timeout. When they come out, I would assume that Griffin Neville is going to be on the court. Bailey Wiseman also kind of in the huddle. He might go out there as well, as Coach Neely likes to pair Neville and Wiseman together.
Neely likes to keep those fresh legs going, especially when he recognizes those runs are starting to appear evident for the Tornadoes. Initially in that run, like you said, they seem to be hurrying a little bit, rushing a tad, and that's when they started forcing, I believe, 4 missed shots in a row. The Lions were able to fly out. They're such a good team in transition, and then all of a sudden, Tornadoes slowed down the tempo, pump faked a ton, and were able to just bait the Lions into constantly jumping to try and shut down at the end of the shot clock, and were able to knock down that jump shot. So just that's what the Tornadoes have been doing all game. It's recognizing that when the Lions are fully scrambling, not just a little bit trying to cover some areas, but when they're fully scrambling, sprinting out to cover, they're able to recognize where the open holes are, and that's how they've been able to knock down so many jump shots so far this afternoon.
It's a lot closer knit. It's a lot more on this guy coverage rather than anything. Jolly getting it through. Joe goes up and puts it in. Impressive feat by Joe to stand sturdy. Neville does come in the game. Wiseman get ready to enter as well. Carter to Hester. Here's Watson now. Watson flips outside. Carnes. Hester again. Bounce pass inside to Watson. Good coverage by Jolly. Pulling up for three here is Carnes. In and out of the hoop. Recovered by Watson, who makes the rebound count. Gotta have that one.
Yeah, that's just something you cannot let happen on the defensive end. We talked about closing out possessions in the first. Jolly just seemed to be watching that, but he's going to try and make up for it here. Shot errantly left. and gonna be no good. Lions need to prioritize
like that, yeah.
closing out those offense or defensive possessions against the Tornadoes.
Now Brevard on a run of their own, 64-56. The Lions have to close gaps right now if they want to make it a tight contest down the stretch. Neville looking for a laser three. Couldn't find it, though. Off the outer part of the rim into the hands of Evans. Going for three now and sinking it is Charlie Hester. Jolly. Reardon finds an open hole, gets poked through. And he'll get two. Have a timeout here. Third foul. And conference here with Coach Neely. And Simon, the run looked promising, but now just struggling to find it again.
Absolutely. The Lions started that run off of a confident steal and then back-to-back points. They were in the fast break. And then they followed up with a couple more layups. And what they were doing in those drives were just aggressive actions off the ball and on the ball. Defensively, they were able to just put pressure on Brevard. Brevard felt it finally. They didn't look like that calm squad that we saw through the majority of the first half, and now all of a sudden it's almost done a full 180. It feels like the Lions are rushing a little bit, a little disconnected. Griffin Neville could have had a picnic in that left corner for the majority of that possession, and once he got the ball, Brevard was able to recognize to come out and close. And defensively, Lions just a little frantic here, jumping a lot and losing sight of a certain player when they move backdoor. It's been a good job by the off-ball players for Brevard as they just continuously put themselves in position to get the extra pass and put away a really easy layup.
Reardon will take it to the line.
At the line, 2, Noah.
His first one finds its way through. If anything, the Lions have made it count at the line today. They've been very good. A lot of that coming from Joe and Jolly. And Reardon looking to make it 2 for 2. Dean also had a little bit of a redemption tour. JCJ, good strip away, goes to Reardon. Reardon pushes his way through the paint. Good spin, good turn, couldn't put it off the glass. Joe off the rebound, good tip by JCJ. Outside to Jolly. Jolly pass to the corner. Reardon pump fakes, pushes his way in. Now goes outside to Ryan again, got 13 seconds on the clock, got a little bit of time to spare. Noah pacing his way around the arc, trying to find somebody. Goes for the long pass inside to JCJ. JCJ in the paint, goes up, can't put it through. Hellenbrook off the tip, and the whistle.
Said it time and time again, those are the layups you need to convert. Luckily, Hellenbrook there to cover JCJ's dropped layup on that reverse. And one thing that I'm finding moderately interesting is Noah Reardon's lack of three-point attempts here this afternoon. We know him as a spot-up shooter, but he's attempted 37 threes. He leads the team in that category, but today, a lot lower of a number. We're going to grab those three-point attempts as Hellenbrook knocks down the first. Reardon only putting up 2 this afternoon. He's behind a lot of his fellow teammates in that category. So as someone who's as good of a three-point shooter, as active as a three-point shooter as he is, I'm very surprised to see how much he's looking to drive inside.
Sometimes it's just not your day. So a 9-point lead for Brevard. Wiseman comes into the game. Reardon takes a seat on the bench. Wiseman throwing out the arms. Inside, RJ Johnson gets a lot of coverage on him. The fist raised by the referee. And 3-man coverage just got a little physical there. JCJ gets slapped with a foul.
At the line, 2, 25, RJ Johnson.
Off the front of the rim, And that's rebounded by Hellenbrook. Go get it down there quick while they're not paying attention. Johnson for another, puts it through, so he's 1 for 2. Wiseman's going to take it out and get it inside to Ryan. Jolly moving his way through, a lot of coverage on him, goes up through the paint, couldn't get it up for 2, but he does get 2 free throw attempts. Jolly gets set for 2. His first. First miss by Jolly this afternoon from the line. But he won't stay in the cold streak column for long. Launches another one, 68-69, or excuse me, 59. Miscounted. Long pass to Charlie Heston. Heston goes for a long 2, unable to rattle it in. Hellenbrook tried to bounce it through. It will be a Brevard ball. Hellenbrook tried to get it down to Jolly, and it bounced off of Jolly's collarbone, it looked like.
Almost felt like dodgeball there. Hellenbrook unable to get it with one hand. But, you know, I'm optimistic that the Lions are still super aggressive on the glass. That's what they need to do to get back into this game.
Hellenbrook gets touch on that one, but throws up the hands immediately. Long 3 attempt and buckets for Charles Reed. Jolly bounce pass inside, trying to find Wiseman. And the referee's going to call for a conference. And the Lions win that regard.
Almost gave me a mini heart attack there. The pass slotted through. Definitely did touch a hand. I don't know if he's arguing whether or not Bailey got a hand on it at the last moment or not, but
I think that was the argument. Wiseman was waving the hands. I did not touch it.
Well, you know what they say. If you put your hands out after some form of an altercation, you're never responsible for it.
Exactly. Wiseman taking it out again. Got to find somebody here. He is going to find Neville. Neville able to get it open. Go outside of Jolly. Ryan to Bailey. Bailey moving quick. Goes to Neville. Neville thought about 3. Still facing pressure. Got to pass it off to somebody. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Wiseman shooting for 3. It's going to fall short. Hellenbrook keeps it inside, but it's right to Heston. Jolly able to get a tip on that one and put it off the glass.
Fortunately, a little too late. They're going to call goaltending, which I thought he got it at the peak. I don't know if they're arguing it was in the area of the hoop, but it looked like he timed it just in time. The ball didn't go off of the glass yet, so seemed to be good enough timing for the block. Unfortunately, though, going to be pegged with the goaltend, and now Lions trail by 14 with just a little over 9 minutes left to play.
Jolly, spin, bounce pass, JCJ, paint, glass, can't find it. On the second, though, goes up for 2. Caleb Lesh in the game. Going for 3 here is Charles Reed. Puts through another. This is unprecedented. The way this team is shooting from behind the arc, this is a completely team on paper than is on the court right now. Jolly's going to go for 3. Back iron. Hellenbrook. It's the foul call.
It's incredible what we're seeing right now from the Tornadoes. 52% from beyond the arc, 13 of 25 overall, and 57 from the field. I mean, these are numbers that you don't even see in an NBA game. They're incredible averages, and they're hitting shots that are heavily contested. It's not like the Lions are sinking off and letting 25 free three-point shots go away. It's legitimately contested shots with a hand in the face almost at least half the time, and they're still finding the bottom of the net, which is just incredible. And honestly, you just have to tip your cap to Brevard for today, because the performance from beyond the arc is just insane.
Coverage by Jolly. He'll flip it outside to R.J. Johnson, now to Evans, who's been relatively quiet this second half, but he hasn't really had to do much. Evans back over to Watson. Watson against Lesh. Takes a shot, and it's short. Right into the hands of Hellenbrook. Jolly, Wiseman, look out! Can't put it up. Have another timeout. Simon, just the door has remained swinging open. The Lions just don't want to walk inside.
It's a dumbfounding game that we're witnessing here, just because the Lions are doing all the intangibles so well. I mean, defensively, they've done all they could. They've been out rebounding the heck out of Brevard. Their defense has been active, and yet nothing they can do is slowing down the Tornadoes' offense. And on the other side, there's no other way to put it, but just shots aren't falling. They're getting good looks inside, outside, everywhere at the line. It's been an okay performance. They're shooting 70% as a team, which is right about in line of where they normally are for the season. But, you know, there's just a lot of points left on the table. There's 7 at the line. 17 missed three-pointers. They're now at 15% from 3 of 20 in the game. So they're matching the tempo that Brevard's shooting, but they made 10 less threes, which you equal the number of threes, all of a sudden, the game's a totally different story. So it's a day where you don't expect this from the Lions. I mean, it's the worst shooting performance we've seen so far this season, and it's definitely something that is super abnormal. It's an outlier when it comes to what we've seen so far this season for the Lions. And while there's still time, there's still 7 minutes, this team can spark an inspired comeback. The shots need to start dropping, simply put.
Bottom line. Wiseman, a pass to no one there. Jolly tries to go up. He does get the foul on him, but he does block the shot. Wild pass from Bailey, and can't tell if it was intended for JCJ or Jolly.
At the line for 2,
So taking it to the line here, it's going to be R.J. Johnson. Can't find the first one. .76 is where that will stop right there. There should be a Lions ball. It will be. We'll start on this side of the court. And now you start to see the fouls piling up for Brevard, and suddenly they're in a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, multiple players at 2. We have one player at 3. That's going to be number 3, Reed, and then as well as Hester, Watson, Johnson, all at 3 personal fouls as well. So, you know, with 7 minutes to play, that is still a huge factor, especially with guys of whom have contributed a good amount of points for Brevard. So if the Lions can stay aggressive, the Tornadoes are going to have to shift what is out there on the floor for them right now.
76-62. And we'll pause here. Mop being brought out onto the floor. Evans being flanked by Wiseman. Good press by the Lions. Wiseman still trying to get a touch on that ball. Float over the heads of Jolly and Bailey. Inside now. A lot of coverage. Tipped out. And I think they're going to say that Quincy Carter stepped out. I think that's the... No, that's not the call that was made. Carter will take the ball out. Pass to Evans. Evans long to Watson. Chauncey Watson, 7 minutes left in the game. Goes for the fadeaway and playing off the glass. Hellenbrook recovers it, can't get it cleanly, and this ball is going to be out and be a Tornado ball. That simply cannot happen. Lesh cleaning it up out there. Still trying to clean it up.
Caleb Lesh can do it all, eh? Look at that. Getting the floor clean. Normally a great spot-up shooter. Everything's coming in with an asterisk here today.
Yeah. Long pass and landed to Carnes. He stepped the line. There's a break, a huge one after that.
Just to set that tone. That's one of those things, you know, that you look back on if the Lions are able to mount a comeback where, you know, the Lions can use that as huge motivation. They're really good at recognizing when the Tornadoes or any of their opponents slow down a little bit in the head, and all of a sudden, the Lions seem to have a little bit more signs of life. Jolly can drive inside. Good contest there. Not to be.
Keep an eye out for Charles Reed. He's at 4 fouls. He's on the court right now. Watson thought about pulling up for 3. Reed over to Carter. Carter inside to Hester. And tipped and out of there by Hellenbrook. Hellenbrook able to get the rebound and to Jolly. Joe trying to find somebody. He's going to find Ryan again. Ryan from the line. Steps, shots, not to be. Hester. Bounce pass over to Reed. Carter, long pass to the corner. Awaiting is Hester. Can't find it for 3. Hellenbrook gets the rebound. Wiseman pacing here. Waits for everybody to get there. Hands it off to Ryan. Jolly back over to Bailey. Bailey shooting for 3. Let's see if that sparks a flame anywhere. Hester inside to Carter. Watson thought about 3. Good job by Lesh to pounce on him quickly. Inside the paint now. Carter once again going to go out to Hester. Joe's covering him from the free throw line. Sinking it there is Quincy Carter. Love to see the Lions shoot from more behind the arc just to give themselves chances.
Now the action between
Here we go.
Wiseman and Jolly is Wiseman's come alive, back-to-back trips.
Call that a
for number
six-shooter.
10. This combination is what I've been hoping to see because they're both so good on and off of the ball that they are able to draw attention and then when left alone can knock down a couple of three-pointers in a hurry. Lead cut back down to single digits, just 9 points separate the Lions and Tornadoes.
Carter goes for two off the back iron, and it's recovered by Carnes. Carnes goes for the back step two, able to be recovered by JCJ. Jolly calling for somebody. He's under a lot of pressure. Bounce pass to Bailey. Bailey's finding somewhere. Gets the foul. Ninth foul for Brevard. Taking it to the line here is Bailey. Three substitutions. We'll see Fisher, Dean, as well as Reardon come in. Hellenbrook comes out after he is having himself a game, honestly. Him and Jolly have kept the Lions in this. And now Wiseman coming out of nowhere.
I believe the intention with Neely's substitution there is just to add a little bit more quickness. You have three guards as huge turnover recognition for the Lions. We're going to see, I believe, a jump ball. We're going to see a timeout called, actually, for Brevard. Wiseman making his case, saying he had both hands to initiate the jump ball, but unfortunately, Tornadoes are going to walk away with the possession and a timeout here. That's a close call, and one that Cave Arena heavily disliked.
Yeah, not going to make too many friends calling it like that. Like you said, it was close, but you like to have that one. But Lions, they have momentum on their side. Are they going to capitalize on that momentum? Because we've asked that question all day long, just hasn't happened yet.
As you said, that door's been open. It's not like
8-point lead.
Given the shooting that Piedmont has had, this game shouldn't be as tight as it is. Yet they're staying in it because they're one of those teams that are so tenacious. They just keep coming back and not letting their opponent gain too much of a lead or an advantage. And with this new substitution, and it's a lot of pace, you're putting Devin Dean at the 5, where he's going to be a physical presence, of course, down low. Brevard obviously doesn't match up large. We talked about that earlier. So you have the luxury of going a little bit smaller, and you have 4 players who are more than efficient from beyond the arc with Reardon, Darden, Jolly, as well as Wiseman. So keep an eye out for a lot more 3-point attempts. And well, Wiseman's got 7 of the last 7 for the Lions. This is shades of what he did against Birmingham Southern just a week ago, where he scored 13 of his 16 in just the few final minutes of that half. He's a man that likes to get hot and stay hot, so let's see if he can keep that momentum going.
78-70, plenty of time left with 4 minutes ticking. Charles Reed shoots for 3 off the front of the rim, and good knowledge there by the Lions to just let that one roll out. Stops the clock and gives them time to set themselves on the other end. Jolly crosses the line. Looking for somebody. Tries to bounce pass inside. It's stolen away by Watson. Lions opting for the press. Wiseman, long throw over Watson, inside to Carnes. Carnes goes up for 2. You're still winning this run. It is a 10-point lead now. Gotta shoot more. Jolly over to Dean. Dean pressing his way through. That ball gets put down, but not for long. Dean, tenacity, shines through. Wiseman, tough coverage there. Hester. To the corner, Watson awaits for three, and he lands the plane. 72-83. With 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Jolly goes for three, and he rattles one in. The Lions are playing very much like you would have wanted them to early on.
Well, absolutely. And
they're not, it's not a lot of, how you say, urgency. Now it seems like it's more pedestrian.
Well,
but with 2 minutes left, sorry, Simon.
No,
Go
continue.
for it.
You got it.
No, go for it.
All right. Well,
okay, never mind. Okay, go for it.
Awesome. I was going to say, just like you said, there's not really a large sense of urgency. It feels like they're playing like they've got 10 minutes left to play. They've only got 2:21 left in regulation. Trailing by 8, they do need to make something happen. That Jolly 3 is exactly what I wanted to see. Him, Wiseman, Reardon should all have the green light to just go. I mean, especially when you have players like Dean and Hellenbrook down low who can crash the glass. We've seen it all night from Hellenbrook. He's almost got double-digit offensive boards. He actually does. He's got 13 offensive rebounds. I believe he actually set the record of the single game rebounding record. If I'm not mistaken, we'll have to verify that in a second. But all the lines should have the green light to just go ahead and fire from beyond the arc.
Hellenbrook back in exactly for that rebound reason. Brevard taking as much time as they want to. With 5 seconds left on the shot clock, ball gets loose. Quincy Carter able to get it again. Ball gets loose once more for two. They rattle it through. Reardon to Joe. Joe back over to Reardon. Reardon pulling up for three. Okay. Foul. I believe that's going to be applied to Noah.
You could live with the aggressiveness. No Lion is in foul trouble. Just a couple of players with 3. So no concerns at all for anyone fouling out. So hopefully the Lions are able to just continuously press, trailing by 7, a little under 90 seconds to go. They need to see a steal or a quick possession from the Tornadoes. Tornadoes looking to drain the entirety of the shot clock to get it down to under a minute.
Reardon steals it away. Scoping it out. Goes for 3. Yeah! Four-point lead. Wiseman and Joe putting the pressure. Yes, sir!
This is the type of pressure we talked about. We wanted to see them up the intensity. We wanted to see Brevard shaking their boots a little bit. And finally, the Lions are doing that. Multiple turnovers by Brevard in back-to-back possessions. Reardon's got the green light.
Wiseman, Reardon on the pressure. Quincy Carter looking to drain. Foul will be called. It's going to be registered to Bailey Wiseman. 48 seconds left and a 4-point lead. This is doable, but you cannot let any more go.
Foul game likely going to come in soon, as you don't want them to burn off 24 seconds. Not yet pulling the trigger on fouling.
Carter. Reed's going to go for 3. He can't find it. Devin Dean pushing his way down. Goes for Wiseman. Wiseman pull it up. Can't find it. Reardon able to snag the rebound outside to Ryan. He's got 20 seconds. Ryan for 3. Can't find it. Foul. And with 15 seconds left, it's a 4-point deficit for the Lions to overcome. Groans from the audience and hands raised. Hallenbrook gets the foul. Reed giving the referee a piece of his mind. Quincy Carter takes it to the line. And he lands it. 86-81. And the Lions, just in that string, you saw them launch three attempts. None of them landed, unfortunately. But that's what you would like to see more in the middle of the second half, not with 30 seconds to go. Hallenbrook to Reardon. Reardon to Wiseman for three. Can't find it. Jolly, with 5 seconds left, shoots for three. And that clangs off the rim. Hallenbrook goes in. And a stunner in Cave Arena. The Lions have been beaten by the Tornadoes. At this point, hang on, having a conference here, referees.
They're just reviewing, I believe, the final shot to verify what the final scoreline will be. Obviously not changing the records of tonight too much, but speaking of records, I'm not mistaken, Coach Neely is, I believe they're checking to see if there's time left on the clock after the made bucket. Maybe just in case. This game might not be fully in the record books just yet. Something is, though, in the record books that occurred this afternoon, and that's going to be Joe Hallenbrook actually breaking the single-game rebounding record here this afternoon. The previous record was set, don't have the exact date, but the number was 19 rebounds in a single game. He's shattered that and then some. He's got 23 this afternoon. Low chance, but still chance. He increases that number as well. 14 of those 23 rebounds were offensive. Just an incredible showcase on the glass by Joe Hallenbrook.
A good performance on the defensive end of the ball for the Lions today, but they could not get it done on the shooting end. And it seemed like the shots began to drop a little too late. The chances they gave themselves did not happen until too little, too late. There was no three-point shooting at the beginning of the second half, not even halfway through. It took until their backs were fully pressed against the wall to show a little urgency. Brevard stuns him.
And here's the thing about this matchup. Look, the Lions dropped 83 points. They gave up a little more than their average. I believe that's one of the higher numbers of points they've given up at 86 points. After their victory with their winning streak, this actually is the most points they have allowed on their winning streak. Obviously, that winning streak comes to a close here today. And Brevard just shot an unreal percentage. It's not like they gave up a lot of easy points or anything. It was from beyond the arc. They finished with 48% from three. From the field, they shot over 52%. That's a number you rarely see.
And folks at home, we want to stress the importance. When we come here, we do our pregame, we look at every single stat. In no way, shape, or form was it ever illustrated in the stat book that the Brevard Tornadoes shot like this from beyond the arc. This is unprecedented for them. It's a miracle game for them, if you will.
And on the other end, of course, like we said, the shooting just the worst it's been for the Lions. We're going to compare it here with their season stats. From beyond the arc, the Lions were coming in shooting 39% from three. They shot just 26%. And then from the field, they're normally shooting, let's find it here, 46%. Today, just a mere 39%. Really steep drop-offs from what they're normally doing. And they still kept the game to within 3 points. So this loss is going to sting. But all things considered, you don't tee this up as a lot of concerns. It's legitimately just a bad shooting night. That's all you chalk it up to, because defensively they look good. Yes, they gave up points, but you gave up points to a team that made more three-pointers than I've seen in a long time. and everything. They destroyed the rebounding battle. You had great offensive showcases. Jolly breaking the 30-point threshold yet again this year, finishing his night with 31 points. Behind him was Joe Hellenbrook with a 17-point double-double. Of course, 17 points and 23 rebounds. And then finishing up the leading scorers for the Lions was Noah Reardon with 13. So the Lions played very inspired, especially towards the end. The only problem was when the Tornadoes finally cooled off, there was about 40 seconds left in the game. So it was very, very hard to mount anything. But I am so impressed with the tenacity and the resolve that the Lions showed here today, because even though nothing was going their way on the offensive end, they kept trying new things. They kept experimenting. Let's go small and aggressive. Let's go tall and try and get a bunch of rebounds. Let's try and shoot from beyond the arc. Let's only drive inside. Let's get to the line. All of these different strategies they employed kept them in the game. But unfortunately, they just fell short to a team that I have genuinely not seen shoot this well ever.
We'll put it this way. A bad shooting night for the Lions is 83 points. Sounds good to me. Well, that's going to do us here for Piedmont Athletics on YouTube. For Simon Johnstone, Daniel Percival, her amazing crew down there on the table, I'm Eric Edmondson saying so long from Cave Arena. And as always, go Lions.